Hey folks, Eric from Cincinnati Typewriters. I started working on this guy like 6 months ago, and then I put it down to take care of some customers' typewriters, then to film a few videos of some other projects, and now I'm finally putting it back together. But this was in about 50 parts not very long ago. What I want to talk, usually I go through some videos of me fixing things and how to fix them and whatnot, but I wanted to talk about something else today. I recently got an email from someone who was really upset with me for the way I did things and disagreed with how I did them, and she knows who she is. She was very nasty to me, and I don't really know why. I don't know why it would bother her if I did something a certain way, even if I did it wrong. But you know, I'm a technician. I've been a technician for 30 years. I'm pretty confident on how I fix things. There might be better ways, but there might be ways that are just different, and there might be ways that are different for some, better for some people and not for me. I do things the way I do them, usually for a reason. And if I have a better way to do it and somebody points it out to me, I might change or I might not. But this person didn't want me to change the way I was doing things. She wanted me to stop ever touching typewriters again because my work was atrocious. I don't know. It just got me to thinking about another subject that I think is something that we ought to talk about. If you're a typewriter enthusiast, which I am, and I assume you are because you're watching this video. I remember, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, I got into forging, and I bought myself a little forge, and I got some metal that I was going to start pounding into knives, stuff like that. It got very popular very quickly because of that that reality show, Forged on Fire or whatever. So it was like overnight. I never got very good. I don't have the upper body strength to really make it happen. Or maybe I was just too lazy and ran out of energy too quickly. But I remember going to websites to find out various things, like how to the problems I was having with, say, forge welding. I couldn't get it to work. So I'd go to forums, which is what you do, and you look up those questions. And I never actually asked any questions at this particular forum. It was the most popular forging forum out there. But I would search for the question that I wanted answered, and I would see other people asking that question. And someone would ask a question, and then like maybe 1 or 2 people would answer them, but 1 or 2 other people would jump down their throats and tell them that the question's already been answered in other threads, and they should search the threads first before asking the questions. There was this weird elitist attitude. Like, if you're a beginner, you have no right being here. Or if you're a beginner and don't know the answer to something, you should find the answer before asking. In other words, the only thing we're allowed to talk about is things that we haven't talked about before. Otherwise, I guess what they thought was that this is a experts forum, and we want to talk about expert things, and we don't want to answer beginner questions. That was the gist of what I got. And so I left that forum and found another forum that didn't have that attitude, and I was much happier. But I wonder if the same thing was going on with this naughty lady who sent me an email asking me never to touch typewriters again. And I scratch my head because this is a different kind of industry. It's not like other industries where it is a hobby industry. There is some business to it. I make money on it, and a few other people make money on it. Most other people are in it just because it's a fun hobby. And if I make money in it, I cannot be or afford to be an elitist the way these guys on the forging forums were, and or the way this woman who sent me an email was. It pays just to be nice because I want to attract more people to the whole typewriter, whatever you want to call it, industry. Typewriter industry is what I'll call it. Even though it's not really an industry, it's just a bunch of people who enjoy typewriters. But I think anyone who's in this needs to be careful about how they talk to outsiders or insiders and how they treat them. I remember once I needed, I can't remember what it was, I think I needed a new platen, and I needed something done with it. I needed it refurbished or something, or resurfaced, and I could only find one or two guys doing it online, so I contacted them to find out how much money it was. And one of the guys, he had a really bad website. Like it was all just a giant block of text, and there were like 3 pages to the whole site. None of it was laid out in a way that made any sense. The only thing I could tell from the website is that you had to use this email address to contact him, and he did have Royal 10 platens for sale. And so I contacted him. I said, you still have them? How much? And he wrote back and said, yes, I still have many. He didn't give me a price or anything. Okay, well, I pressed further. I said, do you want me to send mine in and you'll redo them, or do I just purchase them outright from you? And he sat back and said, give me the size. Now, there's a few sizes, admittedly, maybe, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 that are in any way popular. So if it was something other than the 3 or 4 sizes that are popular, then I certainly would have included that. But he just wrote back and said, give me the size. Instead of, if there's only 3 or 4 available, why not just list all the prices of those sizes? So I sent him the size, and he said, yeah, it's this much, and then that's all. So I wrote back because I didn't know what to do next. I had asked him twice now, do I send these to you and you redo them, or do I just need to buy them from you? And I asked the third time, okay, do you want me to send these, or do I just purchase them from you? Number 1. Number 2, if I send them, where do I send them? Number 3, do you take PayPal? How do you want to do this, money-wise? And he wrote back, it's like a whole paragraph chewing me out because he doesn't take PayPal, and he hates PayPal, and he wasted a bunch of money on PayPal, over $1,000 on PayPal, and never made any money out of it. By this time, even if he was the only one offering that service, I would have ended the I should have ended the conversation long before that, just because of his rudeness. But I kept going, and by this point it was like, okay, I'm never doing business with this guy. It's almost like I'm a bother. He treats me like I'm a bother, like I'm bothering him for asking to buy something from him. Here's my money. I want to give it to you because you have something I want, and that's a bother. It makes no sense to me. I have typewriters. If somebody wants a typewriter, they can call me anytime and talk about it. They can write and ask questions about it, and I'll answer them as best I can, and I'll do it with a smile on my face, even if I'm sick or tired or something else that would affect the way I act. Once you're in front of a customer who wants to give you money, your whole attitude needs to change. You need to be happy to do anything with them. But that's not what this guy was. And that's not what this woman, I don't even know what this woman wanted. She just wrote me an email out of the blue chewing me out for the way I did things. Um, Now, I understand that when when you do something that very few other people do, you get to kind of set the tempo a little bit more than in other places. For example, I work on printers and copiers, and there's plenty of other guys out there who work on printers and copiers. So my customers get to tell me what, if they want me to do things a certain way. Hey, I don't want you to park there. I want you to park 3 blocks down. Then unless it's way too much trouble, okay, I'll park 3 blocks down. I'll kind of do it your way. But when I work on typewriters, there's not that many other people who do it. There's a couple people, but not many. So I get to call the shots a little bit better. For example, during COVID, everybody was wearing those stupid masks. I knew that was idiotic from day one, and I decided from day one, I'm not going to wear a mask. So I would go to various customers' places of business, and some of them would just all wear masks and kind of be real blunt about it, the fact that they're wearing it and that I wasn't it, as if they're afraid of me. I just kind of ignored that, and some people just flat out said, you need to wear a mask. And I would say, okay, well, you can bring the machine, whatever I'm there to work on, you can bring it out to me and I'll work on it out here, or you can change your rules for me because I'm not going to wear a mask. And most people said, fine, just go in, just get it done and get out. And that's what I did. I think in that entire time, but it ended up being like 2 years of ridiculous people asking people to do ridiculous things. And all that time, I lost one customer. Maybe other customers kind of get a bad taste for me, and maybe they eventually stopped using me. But as far as I know, because of my decision not to wear a mask, I lost one customer. And I'm okay with that. And so what I'm trying to say here is that I understand that if you're a rarity, you get to call shots a little bit more than if you have a lot of competition. Competition takes away your choices. The more people who work on typewriters, the less choice I'll have in how I deal with people. The more people who are working on typewriters, probably the lower prices I'll be able to charge. The more people refurbishing typewriters and doing a good job of it, because that's part of it, the less money I'll be able to charge for the ones I've refurbished. But to give a bad attitude, that's a whole different thing. I don't care how rare you are. It's stupid to have a bad attitude towards either A, a potential customer, or B, a potential or another enthusiast who's in somewhat the same. People call me who are just getting into typewriters. They're excited. They just bought a new machine. They want to know something really stupid, something that most people know, and they say, "Well, how do you do this?" There's no reason to treat them poorly. You answer the questions and you do it with a smile, because someday this person might need something from you, or I don't know why. It's just, you should have a good attitude with people. And just because you can do something that not many other people can do doesn't give you a right to have a bad attitude. There's a sense that if you have very little competition, it's true that you can charge more money, and it's true that you have to worry less about losing customers. At the same time, if there are more enthusiasts, if there are more people in the industry who want typewriters and use typewriters, then obviously there will be more people who fix them, and you'll have more competition, and maybe you'll be able to charge a little bit less. But you'll be more likely to get business. The more people there are in the typewriter industry, I think the happier we'll be eventually. There's no reason to act like an elitist just because you know how to do something most people don't know how to do. Because if you give a bad attitude, then less people are going to want to know how to do it. And less people are going to care, and you're going to become irrelevant. Except for to 5 or 6 people who know you, who really care and are willing to undergo insult and injury just to get something fixed. But those people are going to be few and far between. We want the typewriter industry to grow. We want more people to use them, more people to rediscover the joy of typewriting. And of course, we want to see these machines kind of restored back to their original glory. But that's only going to happen if you have a good attitude. Good attitude with competitors, a good attitude with potential customers, a good attitude with people who are just kicking tires and curious and probably aren't going to spend any money anyway. Let's be welcoming to newbies. Let's be approachable and spread the joy of typing.